Alright. Welcome back to Fairy Tail Anime Review, episode number 82. We are here reviewing the penultimate episode of Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Season 1, Episode 24. Which is This Hideous World. This episode adapts from chapters 84 to 87, the first 8 pages of chapter 88. So, in this episode, we pick up pretty much exactly like the last episode after Lucy defeated, well, the big strong lady. And then, of course, we have where everybody's like, oh, so Snow White. Oh, it's just basically Gray and the Snow Woman. And they have an excellent fight. I think it's basically half the episode. Where it's like, he basically uses ice magic on her, she freezes, eventually she tries freezing him, and then he turns his ice demon mode. He's like, what's this? It's a power of a demon, which he got this. Now, this episode does have reference to Tartarus, believe it or not. Now, in case you're curious, where did Gray get this form from? He got it from his father, who was briefly revived by Tartarus' necromancer during the Tartarus arc, which was a very lengthy arc. An arc that was altered for the anime a little bit. I remember there was a couple scenes they altered for the anime. For instance, if you watch the anime, there was a scene where Urza, where she is in a cell and she's being interrogated by Kagura, one of the demons of Tartarus. Now, in the manga, she was butt naked. I'm not kidding about that. Yeah, she was butt naked, and Kagura's like, yeah, lower beings don't deserve clothes. In the anime, they had to wear a shirt. Don't know why. And in the case of, if you watch the scene of Natsu and Lucia, the one who's Mary Jane's younger sister, they were both butt naked as well, and the guards never spoke to them. They just ignored them. And of course, Natsu was very curious of what she looked like when she was butt naked. Yes, seriously. I don't know exactly why. But yeah, that's kind of basically what it did. In the anime, they kept their clothes on. Aside from that, it was pretty much a very faithful adaptation of the arc itself. My guess is probably they didn't want to show you nudity in the arc, or imply the fact of characters being butt naked for no reason. Yeah, now that was not a recent story. Now, when I watched it, this was back in 2017 when I watched these episodes. It was also a return after the show being hiatus for a couple years. Now, I, of course, watched it at that point. Of course, the anime did come back the following year and pretty much adapt the last 2 arcs of the series, which, of course, it was the second time in the series they put the show on hiatus due to the fact that it was manga. And after the Tartarus arc aired, they brought the series back and they adapted the final 2 arcs. Before that last 2 arcs, they released a movie that is set before the Avatar arc they had for the penultimate arc of the series, which was the Fairy Tail, I think it was Dragon Cry, I think it was, which I had that movie. I actually owned the movie, and I actually got Ty Peppercorn himself to sign it. Because I was waiting for the dub movie. As soon as I heard the movie, I couldn't wait for the dub because I love the dub for Fairy Tail. So, by the way, in the case of Snow Woman, I should probably tell these people's names. I know it's Lucy and Hakuna, that's her name. Hakuna, she's a Snow Woman. Oh, and Mimi is the one basically who Lucy beat last episode. And she's still in the same spot. So basically, in the case of Hakuna, she proceeds to take off her outfit. Yes. Where she is having some basically, she's kind of like, well, gray. And at one point, she actually puts in this fantasy setting where he is married to Juvia, They have kids. His father is alive. His master is alive. Altair is also alive too. Also, the fact that his son, his fantasy son, calls Altair like answer to like maybe he's not ancient. Well, because they're kind of in a way siblings. Because of it's almost implied the fact that maybe like Urs maybe got married to Gray after probably his father his mother died. It was very interesting fantasy setting, and then he breaks it, and he's like, that happy ending's not for me. He's like, he's only decided to make Juvie happy, which, good for him. And it's an excellent fight, and it ends with him winning. No surprise there. And then the ground starts shaking because these big hands, which big thing in this arc. And then Wendy, but also basically Wendy Hellfish healing Natsu and Urza, who've been injured, who actually was injured just in the previous episode. So basically, like, she also suspects the hands, given that when they, of course, they detail the origin of them, and then she theorizes. Now, this is where Tartarus connection comes in. That these hands are similar to the weapons made by the Magic Council in Earthland. The magical items that nearly destroyed all magic in the world. That was stopped by the return of the dragons. Yeah, they all came back and pretty much destroyed the faces. Well, they're like it was a weird setup in the anime where it's like, oh, count, they're like all the magic is gone, and like wait, magic, and of course then eventually a dragon showed up and destroyed all the faces. It's a very similar concept using faces where you'd have hands. So basically, they should probably find the source. And of course, when you study it, yep, these are very similar, same mechanism, but different type of object. So she theorized all the hands connected to a source underground. So Lucy proceeds to basically summon Virgo, and then they proceed to go underground, and then they arrive at the cause of all the hands, and it's caused by a creature who apparently is a source of Entier's magic, Altaface. Yes, which they describe as a creature that the people of White Village fought like 200 years prior to the series in their world, which they kind of really subdued it and kind of contained it. And the only reason why the creature became sentient once again was due to Selene. But before this, I should mention this. Basically, she gets defeated in the episode. Yeah, she gets defeated by Suzaku. Yeah, slices her. Oh, by the way, actually, the source of basically his blade. We actually found out that Kaguri, the dragon that was slain to make this sword. And I want to make sure I get this correct here. Karagiri, who turns out was actually her son. And she thinks Suzaku was one murderer. So I'm like, no, it was not me. It was his master, the leader of Diabolos himself. Because in the belief that basically like dragons are like the enemies of humanity. Not really per se. Unless they're contained, they're really not really big threat to them per se. Yeah. So then of course basically she makes the aqua portal when the white mage basically she tries to make it. It doesn't work. Actually Toku tried to make it, but it doesn't work, but because the magic is not going haywire. And then Selene basically makes it, and then of course Suzume basically proceeds to follow her, and of course they confront the altar face, and well, basically reveal Selene is responsible for all the magic going haywire in the world, and the fact that they became active again after being active for 200 years. So basically the ending is set up for the final episode of the season, which not all that surprised, given the fact there is probably not a lot left to. In case you're curious, like when they finish that thing, when they do the last episode, which will be released tomorrow, by the way. Yes, it will conclude the Moondragon arc, but it will also start up the very next arc of the series, which has nothing to do with Dragon. Nope, it starts up the Grand Labyrinth arc. That's the arc it starts. Yes, it starts up in this arc. Mm-hmm. Yep, and the arc itself is 32 chapters. Mm-hmm. Then you have Golden Owl, which that one is 31 chapters. And then you have the current arc of the series, which has been going to chapters 154, which means this arc is going on for 27 chapters. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, that's interesting. The fact that it just... Yeah. So, I'm definitely looking forward to whenever they decided to do. Because, basically, when they said to do the next season, per se, how long we have to wait, I don't know. In case you're curious, there is roughly close to about 100 chapters. By the time the season wraps up, which will be tomorrow, they will have roughly about 100 chapters left to adapt. I'd say about 80 something. Let's see. The most recent chapter they just released was chapter 178. So, and I'll get 91 tomorrow, which means they'll have 87 chapters left to adapt. My guess is they might wait until maybe toward the end of I'm sure there'll probably be season 2 coming. Would not be surprised, but like getting popular, given how basic people love Fairy Tail, despite some people call it trash. Yes, which I severely disagree with calling it that, because the series is not trash. This is a series I really enjoy. The voice actors love doing it. So I did say this in the final review when I talked about the final episode for the original Fairy Tail series. Well, I said screw the people who said basically that said the series is trash. Well, that's their opinion. I'm sorry. I basically said screw them. No, this was 6 years ago. That basically 6-7 years ago I said this. I apologize for saying this, and nobody called me on it, surprisingly. I don't know why, but no one ever did. But I apologize. But it's just me stating the opinion related to the series. So I'm going to move on from that. Now, here's... I'm not going to say screw you again. And my response to people who say the series is trash. If you say that, you don't understand the core of the story, which is friendship. And I'm like, yes, they preach about friendship. What's wrong with friendship? Okay? And plus, the series has got fan service, which I have no problem with fan service. Okay? Heck, I've heard people call it One Piece trash. It's not. It's not trash. It's a fun series. It's long, yes, but it's not trash. Would I describe as Fairy Tail overrated? No. I would not describe Fairy Tail as overrated. I love this series. A friend of mine recommended this series back in 2017, which was, believe it or not, 8 years ago. And because I became a long fan of the series for roughly almost 10 years now. Heck, I own like 2 figures of characters from this series. I own half the anime. Well, most of the original anime, that is. I own both movies. Now, you might be asking, do I own any volumes of the manga Fairy Tail? No, I don't. I never had the desire to buy them. I read them all online. Still enjoy them, per se. I don't plan to reread the series anytime soon, but if anybody wants to read the Fairy Tail manga, go right ahead. They'll get used to basically reading from right to left, because of the Japanese way. I am not going to... The only manga I read where they actually published the correct way, well, the American way of reading, which is left to right, is the Anna manga for Inuyasha. That's the only one. But let's end it here with that one. So, That's pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and join the like button. Next up, basically, we have is a comic corner. And it's probably going to be the last video of the evening. So, Case Ghost Quest tomorrow, along with the final episode of Fairies Warriors Quest, final episode Warriors Quest Season 1, along with Red Ranger as an adventurer in the world. So I got 3 tomorrow. Not bad. I have no problem with that at all. It's better than freaking 6 or 10, which give me. So I'll see you next video. Bye.